Good evening, everyone. It is Wednesday. No, it's not. It's not Wednesday, is it? It's Thursday. This is what quarantine does to you. It's Thursday. It's Thursday, the 18th of June, and we are back with another episode of Kickin with Kopish. My name is Callum. We've got man like Matt. We've got Drifty, and guys, do not adjust your sets. We have the one and only David Lynch from the Evening Standard. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you doing, David?
That was a big intro. It's like I've got a lot to live up to there.
we try. How you doing, David?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Yeah, I was in a similar mood quarantine-wise, as losing track of the days and stuff. But yeah, it's been really warming up here recently. So yeah, that's been good fun, just stuck in the house.
Indeed. So, David, what we like to ask our guests, the first question we like to ask as soon as they come on. So, what is the one thing that you think you took for granted before the lockdown that you won't take for granted once the lockdown's completely lifted?
I think, I mean, football-wise, is obvious. Is fans being in grounds is just going to be the first time that happens. First time we get back to that is going to be unbelievable because. I've not even been to a match yet, obviously, since, I've not been to the City game yesterday or anything like that to cover that. But just, watching it on TV, it's just not the same, is it? The whole thing that we love about football is when you walk into the ground and you get out there, you sit, and for me, obviously, sit there at my desk and then look around and look at the Kop or whichever ground I'm at, and you look at the fans and hear the noise and the smells and the sounds. I'm really badly missing that. So I know we're still a long way away from that. And we're back in a different sort of football at the moment, but that is the thing I'm most looking forward to, without a doubt.
Fair enough. So, I mean, now's probably a good time to ask you, what did you think of the games yesterday and the sort of crowd noises and the pictures on the screens? Obviously, Man City couldn't fill their screen, but we're used to that now. even though they've reported an attendance of 53,000, but again, we're used to that as well.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know about you guys, but I thought I watched it. I watched a bit of the first game and all of the second one, the City Arsenal game, and I thought I watched both with the crowd noise on, and having experienced watching the Bundesliga games without the crowd noise since that's been back, and then obviously watched a bit of the Spanish, and that has had the crowd noise. I think it's much better with it. I know a lot of people sort of disagree with that and think that it's not real, so you can't really get into it, and it's fake, but I just. For some reason, it just feels better watching it with it on. And I actually thought, that made the spectacle a lot better. And I also enjoyed the games. I thought, Arsenal City went very much the way you'd expect it would, with the crowd or without, but some football in there, and it was a good game. So, it's nice to have it back, even though it's slightly different.
Indeed. Matt, I'll ask you, how did you find watching the games with the crowd noise?
Yeah, do you know what? Just like what David said, I think to begin with, when we were talking about it and it got reported that they were going to have it, I was a bit like, fake crowd noises, is that really going to work? But then, obviously, once I experienced it yesterday for the first time properly, obviously with the Premier League, I actually quite enjoyed it. It made it more like that whole atmosphere was there. Obviously, it's not. And there were certain points, for example, if a big moment happened, there was like this delay, and then you'll hear the crowd kind of go, hey. But that's typical for Man City anyway. Like, do you know what I mean? No one's ever there. They're empty. But no, I actually enjoyed it. I actually think it's a good touch, and I think they're doing well. Obviously, there'll probably be some improvements, but I actually think it's decent, to be fair.
What do you reckon, Drift?
Yeah, I put a tweet out just after the game saying I like it. It for me, it's way better. When I watch the Bundesliga, I feel like it's like I don't want to be able to hear. I said, "Man on, Bobby, what's wrong with you?" No, you didn't. I don't want to be able to hear that. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear the echo when the ball hits the side, and I don't know. I don't like all that. It's like on Pro when you do the training mode, you can just hear the ball kicking around. I hate that. So, yeah, I was really glad that it worked. I don't know if every team can put that big screen up. I don't know if that was only City. I don't know what other teams are going to do that. But that was kind of cool if you get to be, have your face there. Maybe, I don't know if they let the players hear them after games. Maybe, I don't know like what that entails, but that's kind of cool as well. So all around, I think they've done well so far to, cope with no crowd in the stadium.
Yeah, agreed. I'll be honest. Although I did like the crowd noises, I'm quite a purist in the sense of I quite liked it when I could hear the man on shouts, and when there was a mistake, I could hear the players arguing. Call me a bit of a cynic. I don't know. It reminds me of being down at Power League or Goals, and there's no hiding. If you do something wrong, you get torn up about it. And if you do something right, everyone hears about it as well. So I quite like the crowd noises, but I also like to without. I think I'm just a sucker for football, and I was just withdrawal symptoms. I'd have taken anything in any condition football wise. So I think that's where we are now. But I mean, the big game coming up on Sunday, David, Merseyside derby. We've spoken about this, me, Matt, and Drifty. What's your sort of feelings on the game? Do you think Liverpool will suffer with any sort of rust, considering we haven't played for a little while?
Yeah, I think that's inevitable, isn't it? We even saw a little bit of that in yesterday's performance. I thought it was a period where City were quite impressive when they stepped it up, but there were periods there where they looked a little bit slow on the ball. They didn't have quite that zip, and they picked the moments, to be fair, to sort of pick it up. But I do think that's an inevitable consequence of not having that intensity of play, and also, I think what would have been a factor as well is not having the fans to say this is the moment to step up. This is the moment, hearing that noise and knowing that's when you put the pressure on. So there's a little bit of that, and I think we'll see an element of that in Liverpool's play. I think what's going to be interesting is that Liverpool have sort of struggled at Goodison Park under Klopp. Obviously, that one win when Mane gets the late goal, which was the perfect start at Goodison Park for him. But other than that, sort of Everton have found it quite easy. Not easy, but they've done well to stifle Liverpool there. I am really interested to see if that goes out the window without fans there, because that is such a massive factor for Everton in these games. Is the fans are so loud there, and that's the one game they don't want to lose. So I'm really interested to see how that plays a part, and if Liverpool, without that crowd on their back and constantly having to go at them, just to see if they turn up, play the football, and maybe they're a much better side than Everton. The league table tells us as much. I think this could be a real boost to Liverpool being able to go to Goodison Park without the crowd there. So if they're on the game, they could really come out with a good result, I think.
Fair enough. I think, we kind of said that earlier on when we recorded the preview, which will be coming out on Saturday. We're very interested to see how things go without there being a crowd there, because there's going to be no one there to lift Everton, especially if we go a goal up. I think it's going to be really ominous for them to try and get back in the game. But we just got a super chat here from Saswat Parney. So once again, guys, if you do want your questions answered, then please do drop us a super chat. I will try and get through as many as possible. So from the tone of this, Saswat's not too happy. So he said, Werner Chelsea, AFCON January, Salah injured, Harvey £10 million to Fulham not paid. Sad day, but David, welcome to the best LFC channel in the world. So he ends on a positive. So let's go through this, because obviously the Werner news is the big one today. David, from a journalist point of view, how nailed on did you think the Werner to Liverpool deal was when all the rumours were circulating and going about?
Yeah, it was weird, because everyone at Liverpool, every time you ask about it, someone at Liverpool would be like, well, no, it's not happening. It's not been happening for a while. It's not on the cards. But then the noises were coming so much from his camp, from the players' camp, the agents around him, and the people who look after him, and even Leipzig, in fact, the noises were so much about that he was coming to Liverpool that I imagine a lot of other journalists went through this similar thing, is just convinced themselves that Liverpool were trying to throw people off the scent. And that happens so frequently. They would not have been surprised at all if someone, the people we speak to at Liverpool were just outright lying, because it happens so frequently. And so, I was as convinced as much as anyone that something was going on. I mean, some more details have come out about it today, which sort of makes sense, is the idea that Liverpool weren't entirely pulled out of the race and thought that they could maybe negotiate a little further down the line something below the release clause that was stated. And that makes a lot of sense to me. I'm still not convinced that Liverpool were completely out at the point that they said they were. I do think there was still a sniff of them being in there, but then Chelsea were able to come in there with that financial package, not just being able to meet the release clause, but the wages they're paying, the guarantee of minutes that they'd be able to give to Werner, which is something he wouldn't have got at Liverpool. And Chelsea team they're putting together is quite an exciting one. So and plus living in the capital as well, which is a big thing for players. So they had a lot to offer him there, I think. And it's not one where I think Liverpool will be there'd be a bit of frustration among fans about missing out, and an element of that he did miss out, I suppose, because of the financial impact of the coronavirus. But I don't think it's one that got gazumped on in terms of the play. If the player had given the choice, I think he would have been ending up at Liverpool. Let's be honest. He wanted to work with Jurgen Klopp, but that in the end, that choice wasn't there, and there wasn't the guarantee he was going to get the move. So he had to make the best choice for him, and I think he's made a good one at Chelsea. I think that'll be a good move for him as well. It's just a shame that we won't get to see him in a Liverpool shirt, because he's a really exciting player, as we all know.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, you look at the Timo Werner saga, and I mean, he was flirting with Liverpool more than you'd see flirting on an episode of Love Island, but again, it just didn't materialise. So, I mean, Drifty, I'll come to you first. Obviously, we've all been quite vocal about our feelings on the deal. Now that the dust is settled and we've had a bit of time to reflect, do you think that we'll live to regret not signing Timo Werner?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, there's a little rumour going around now that Salah's not fully fit and he might have a little bit of a knock. That's kind of a reminder that when him or Mane aren't playing, the levels drop dramatically. I don't think it drops as bad as people think it does when Origi plays through the middle, because he can't do what Bobby does, but he does score important goals. So I don't think the drop-off feels as big. On the wings, Origi's not good out wide, and it doesn't make any sense. And other than Shaqiri, who I think is more of a number 10 than a winger, we don't have another player who can play out there. I don't even think Klopp fancies Minamino out wide. Every time he's played him through the middle. So I don't even know if he even fancies Minamino wide. So we need a wide player, and obviously Werner could have done that. Unless there's some player that, as David said, like they throw people off the centre and then pull off Fabinho's. Unless we've got something like that we're thinking about doing for a winger. Although I still can't even really think who that winger would be, unless the scouting team have done an unbelievable job of pulling off the new Chikwueze or something like that. So I feel like it was a big miss. I don't think he'll do that well at Chelsea. I know people are going to sound being salty, but I don't think anybody does well at Chelsea unless they're a certain type of player. I know Lampard's trying to play different, and Chelsea will big up their style more under him, but I still feel like your Tammy Abraham, your Diego Costa, big, powerful, have a little bit of pace, but it's more hold-up play, bringing people in. Giroud, that type of thing. I think that works better for Chelsea just in general. And I know Werner's got decent hold-up play, but he's definitely a running ball to feet as he's moving in on goal type of player more than, back to goal type of player. So I don't think he'll do as well as he would have at Liverpool. So, I mean, I could be completely wrong, but the way Chelsea play, I don't think it was as good a move as it could have been if he came to Liverpool.
I hear what you're saying. I'll be honest, I'm kind of on the opposite with you on that one. I actually think he'll do really well at Chelsea. And I think the style of play Lampard's trying to implement at the moment, I think Tammy Abraham has played well and he's got some good goals, but I still don't think Lampard sees him as that crucial striker to sort of take them to the next level. I think you look at the signings they've made in Ziyech as well. I still think Pulisic could come good. And you think a front three of Pulisic, Werner and Ziyech, that's not a bad front three at all, especially if they all click. However, again, it is the case of if they all click, because I mean, a lot of Liverpool fans were upset when Pulisic signed for Chelsea, but he hasn't gone on to do anything. But of course, he is still young, so time remains to be seen. So, Matt, I mean, do you think Werner will go down the Pulisic route, or do you think he'll thrive at Chelsea?
Do you know what? After all, like, the dust has settled, I actually think he's still going to do really well. And I think you hit the nail in the head. I think Lampard's trying to do something different. And I get what you're saying, Drift, about the whole, they normally, with Chelsea, successful strikers are normally in the Drogba mode, the Costa mode. But I think Lampard is trying to change their culture and how they play. And this is the thing, Timo Werner is a striker, but he can also obviously play out wide. He's got those attributes to play there. I just think if Chelsea play to his strengths, they will get the best out of him. And he's just a goal threat. And I think in the Premier League, any manager would just want someone that can score goals. Scoring goals is the most important thing for a striker. And that's what he does. As good as Tammy Abraham is and what he's done so far, I just think Werner takes them to the next level. And like what Cal said as well with Ziyech as well, I do think Pulisic will come good. And you still got Hudson-Odoi as well. Chelsea are building something. Obviously, they're still behind us, but I think getting Werner and Ziyech in is really going to take them, in my opinion, to the next level. And I think they'll be more of a threat next season.
Fair enough. So guys, in the comments, let us know what you think. Will Timo Werner be a success at Chelsea, or do you think he's gonna do a Fernando Torres and bomb a little bit? Hopefully it's the latter. But before we came on air, we sort of touched on our Egyptian king, Mo Salah, and the fact that rumours are circulating that he hasn't actually fully gotten over the knock he had. And obviously we've spoken briefly about Origi potentially playing out on the wing, etc., or Shaqiri not being an out-and-out winger. So David, I'll come to you. I mean, do you think if Salah's not 100% fit that he'll be risked in the game against Everton? And if not, who do you think will come in to replace him?
I think if we were in a situation where Liverpool had, one game a week, and it wasn't going the way it is at the moment, which we know they're going to be back to back midweek weekend to sort of get through this fixture list at the moment. I think there is a chance that he would maybe risk him. And I know, the thing is with Salah at the moment, he's clearly not taking part in team training. He may well be doing an individual session. They do that quite a lot, pull players out, make sure they're doing bespoke stuff so that they're not overloading them, particularly if they've had an injury recently. So, there is every possibility that he does make it. But I do just think in this situation that Klopp will err on the side of caution. And, when he's got Divock Origi in the squad, someone who just cannot stop scoring against Everton or scoring big goals of any type, to be honest, I just don't think he would take the risk. Like we said about the Everton game, the interesting thing is about the crowd and things like that. So Liverpool could go there and have a lot of the ball and not really be under the pressure that they would usually be in an Everton game, because they've not got the crowd behind them, getting everyone putting pressure on, running in and stuff like that. So, it might even be a kinder environment for Origi to go into than it would have been. So, I think the opportunity is there for him to start the game. He's the obvious option. Shaqiri, obviously, still not fit at the moment, which is a shame. So he's not going to be in there. You've just got a man there who scores against Everton every time. So I think he's the obvious one to come in. And, then you've got the decision about whether that is through the middle and you move one of the other guys, or whether he just goes onto that left role. Could even be Mane up top. You don't know. Jurgen Klopp will probably have to do some shuffling around there. But yeah, I think he's definitely the one to come in.
Drifty, what are your thoughts? Do you think maybe it's going to be Origi? Could Klopp spring a surprise and start with Minamino? What do you reckon?
Yeah, that's true. I keep forgetting we have Minamino, and it's not even because I'm being disrespectful to him. Like, he's a quality player. I was chuffed when we signed him, but when I've seen him play for us, because it's been different to how I was used to him playing at Salzburg, I'm kind of not sure what Klopp's trying to do with him. So I think that's why I keep forgetting he's there. He could play him. You're right. He could actually play Minamino. Why not? Do you know what I mean? But it's gotta be Divock, man. To be honest with you, I think no crowd might actually be worse for Divock, because he loves a big moment in front of a big crowd. You know what I mean? He's a big game player. That you lot know that's my boy. So I would rather see Divock play. You know what? Klopp will never do something completely random, but how about just changing the front three from the 4-3-3 and dropping Mane or Bobby back and having like two up top with the one behind? It's only Everton, innit? Just change it up a bit. Just see, you know what I mean? Like, just have Bobby floating and maybe Mane and Origi above him. Mane can come in as well, maybe at times. Like, float around. Like I said, it's only Everton. So, but Klopp doesn't really do stuff like that. So I think he'll probably just go with Origi left, put Mane on the right, and then just have Bobby through the middle.
He has used that 4-4-2 from time to time, which I think is interesting. The one with Keita coming in off the left, and then then you have your solid two up front. That's an option with if Salah doesn't make it. So that's a possibility for if he's going to shuffle things around there.
Yeah, it's
true. Yeah, that's a start. Yeah.
I just got a really quick super chat. We'll obviously get on to transfer rumours, etc. later on in the show. But Monkey King, thanks for your super chat. Get Dembele 2-footed and can cover both wings. Plus, if he comes to the club, I may be able to sneak into the club as a bodied stunt double. So I'm all for Ousmane Dembele coming to Liverpool. Matt, what do you reckon? What do you reckon about if Salah doesn't play? Who do you think can come in, or do you agree with Drift that we may potentially alter the system and change the shape of the team?
It's a tough one, really. I think Divock Origi is probably the most obvious one to start. And I reckon if he is going to start, it's most likely going to be on the left. I think you'll put Mane right and then Bobby through the middle. But then, like what David said as well, there's been a couple of games where he's done the 4-4-2. And I wouldn't mind seeing that, to be fair. And you guys know how I feel about my boy, #Naby things. Like, Naby is my boy. And I think this is the time that Naby has to shine. Like, if he's not going to... And that's another thing as well, actually. For me in the midfield, well, obviously we'll get into that maybe a bit later, but Naby has to start as well. He looked good against Blackburn, and I know it's only one game against Blackburn, but I think Naby being fit and having that extra time on the training ground, I know it's only been like a couple of weeks, but just understanding the pattern of playing, just getting your confidence back. But going back to your original question, I think Origi's going to play. I just think it might not be the 4-4-2 that I wouldn't mind seeing, though, because it'll be kind of cool to see maybe Origi and Mane up top and Firmino just behind, like we were saying, Drift. So that would actually be kind of cool. But then I just think Klopp is very much the case of if it's not fixed, don't break it kind of thing. So I think he probably will stick to the 4-3-3.
That's fair enough. And Matt, obviously you mentioned Naby Keita. David and Matt, I'm not going to ask this question because I don't want to ruffle your feathers, but the general consensus around Naby Keita is that he's fantastically talented, but he just isn't on the pitch a lot of the time. Now, apparently in this period since lockdown, he's put on about 3-4 kg of muscle. He's bulked up. He looks sharp. Apparently in training, he's been doing brilliantly. Do you think this is sort of Naby Keita's last chance to prove himself to be, that player that we all thought we were buying from RB Leipzig?
Yeah, it's maybe be harsh to say last chance. Obviously, Jurgen Klopp really likes the player, so I don't think he's at the end of his patience with him or the end of his tether are there with him yet. But I do think at some point there needs to be a sort of return on that big money that Liverpool spent. On Twitter, you see so much argument about him, so much debate about him. I think everyone agrees that he's obviously a really talented player, but it's like you say, at the moment he gets a consistent run of games, and he does that has happened from time to time. He's just picked up that little niggle of injury or a loss of confidence where he's not played particularly well in a certain game. And I just think if you're a manager, it's so much easier to go back to Gini Wijnaldum, who 100% what you're going to get out of him every time you pick him in the team. He's the one who sort of people tend to think that would be the one to make way if Keita was to come in more regularly, because obviously Jordan Henderson's the captain, and then Fabinho's your purest and probably best number 6. And I just think it would be so much easier to go back to Wijnaldum. And I don't understand as well the sort of desperation to get Wijnaldum out of the team, as exciting as Keita could be. I just think that midfield has been so good over the past 2 seasons. I know it's not everyone's favourite pick, but that 3 has just been so solid, facilitates the fullbacks doing their thing. It's won the European Cup. It's got a 22-point lead in the Premier League at the moment. Definitely going to be champions, world champions. So, yeah, I think if he does get the opportunity in this break now, has made Jurgen Klopp have a rethink and think, okay, maybe these next 9 games, I give Naby Keita all 9 games if he stays fit and see. And if he plays well, he can go into the start of next season, and maybe he's the thing that takes his team to even a slightly higher level, if that is hopefully possible. But he's got to stay fit for these 9 games, I think, and he's got to, if he does play those 9 games, he's play well in 7 or 8 of them and really make his stamp on the team. Because if he has been bulking up and that he's got his body in a position where he hopefully fends off injuries a little easier, then that hopefully that bodes well for him having a good run. I really, sometimes as journalists, I know a few of us get a bit of stick about Naby Keita for not praising him enough, but I assure you, everyone who goes to watch him we want to see the player that was at Leipzig 100%, and we have seen flashes of that. I'd love nothing more than him to come into this team now and in these last 9 games really flourish and then kick on next season.
Yeah, agreed. I think he's probably one of the players who splits opinion amongst the fans a lot in terms of his quality and whether he deserves to be in the team or not. I know he splits Matt's and Drifty's opinion all the time, so I can only imagine what it's like for you on Twitter when you're having to write articles about him. We just got another question here from Dinesh Karayan. If you see, guys, next to Dinesh's name, he actually has a small icon, which means he's a member. So you too can join as a Kopish member as well. Just $3.99 a month. You get exclusive videos, etc. So I just asked the question now. So evening to you all. Do you think Liverpool have an advantage for next season with the short turnover of 3 weeks? The other players of the team with new players will need to get used to a new system. Drifty, I'll come to you on that one. Do you think we'll have an advantage over, say, I don't know, a Chelsea who will only potentially have three weeks to try and bed in Timo Werner?
Yeah, remember, it's quite ironic because we filmed the preview before this, but it's gonna go out after this, so it's kind of weird. But remember, we spoke about it, and I said this 3 months we've had off could have been one of the greatest things that could have ever happened to us for the following season, because maybe we might be rusty at the beginning of these 9 games and maybe find our stride maybe halfway in towards the end. But then obviously I don't think we'll be going as hard anyway, because apart from the points total, league will already be wrapped up and players will just be thinking, what's the point in getting an injury, just going ham in a game that technically means nothing. I know we do want the record, but it technically means nothing. So maybe only your Curtis Jones and your Naby Keitas will be trying a bit extra hard because they want to be in the first team for next season, as David was saying, especially with like Keita in the midfield and stuff. So I think it could be great for us that we've had these 3 months. And then because we're out the Champions League, not that we would ever want to be out the Champions League, of course we won't. But you want to talk about asterisks next to the title, whoever wins the Champions League this year is a fake champion, 100%. I don't know what we're still champions of Europe, yeah? So whoever wins that fake little silly tournament thing they're going to do in August, that will mean that a lot of these teams will still be playing in there. Their players will still be playing and whatever. So maybe, especially Man City, maybe we might have a bit of an advantage that we'll get a break then we'll get the real break. Then we'll come back. We'll have had, you know, the time through the lockdown. And maybe the players will just be so refreshed. It'll be like, maybe we don't even need a signing. Again, obviously we do, but you get my point, because I think fatigue was one of the main things we was always worried about in terms of how intense Klopp's system is. They've been playing it for well over 24 months now, the majority of the players we got now. And if anything happens with Klopp, it's just you get mentally and physically tired of how intense it is to play for him. So now they've had quite a bit of a break. It might almost be like, okay, this is like new again. Like we fully feel refreshed, because how long do you normally get off? Maybe 3 or 4 weeks maximum as a footballer in general. If there's like World Cups and Euros, you get even less than that. This is probably the longest break they'll ever have in their whole career. So it could be beneficial, man.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Matt, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think in terms of like bedding in Timo Werner, yeah, stuff like that would definitely have an advantage, because we're at the moment we are a well-oiled machine. Oh, listen, when we go into that 3-week break that we have, Klopp is just going to tinker a few things, but everything I think is already kind of set. And when it comes to other teams, like even your Man Uniteds, they want to get signings in. Pretty much everyone wants to get new signings in, but it's going to take a bit of time. Liverpool don't need to do that. We're literally, I think, as you said, we've had a nice long break. Obviously, we're going to get through that little ring rust period, and then we're going to go from there. So I think it is beneficial to us, and I think we'll definitely reap the benefits next season. And talking about breaks, I'll tell you something that's quite funny, Drift, is that I'm still waiting to hear about Man City and their transfer debacle situation. So that's going to be another interesting thing, which could derail them next season even further.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean,
let's hope in it.
Yeah, I mean, they're saying there's going to be a verdict sort of between the beginning and middle of July, aren't they? So, I mean, we'll sit tight and see. Maybe that may force Liverpool's hand in the transfer market as well, because dare I say it, if Man City aren't allowed to sign anyone, the onus is on the rest of the clubs to claw back the massive gap that we've amassed over this season. So you could make an argument, again, I do want us to sign a couple of players, but you could make the argument that Liverpool can sit back and say, well, Man City were our closest rivals. They've not strengthened. We've not strengthened. It's going to be another battle again, head to head. And I'm pretty sure we'd come out on top again, because they still haven't addressed the issue at the back at centre back.
No, if you ask the Chelsea fans, bro, I've already heard some of them talking about titles next year, so
Yeah, but we also heard Arsenal fans say they had the best front three when they signed Pepe, and we've seen where that's got them.
Right, listen, Cal, I know you'll like this one. Just quickly, let's say Man City do get their transfer ban. Are you saying Liverpool go for De Bruyne? Yeah, is that what you're saying straight away?
Without if we can get Kevin, my life's complete. Like my life's complete. I've already said if need be.
We can't even afford Werner, and you think we're gonna go and get De Bruyne?
No. Kevin's a special case, though. Kevin is special. I say if there was any indication, which I don't think there will be, just realistically, because again, Man City are not going to want to sell to a rival. They'd rather sell abroad anyway. But I'm just saying, if Kevin gave any indication that he would play for us, I guarantee you, FSG would actually they would dive deep into their pockets for Kevin. If they don't, then
would you put your mortgage on it? Would you put your mortgage on FSG going deep in their pocket? Yeah, you might end up homeless, bro.
I mean, personally, I'd set up a GoFundMe page if need be. And I dip into I've said it before, I'll say it again. I mean, I've said I'll do it for the Liverpool kit. If there's a chance we can get De Bruyne, I'll sit my little one down in a few years' time and I'll say, look, your savings is a bit short, but look, we've got Kevin and things are good because we've won the Premier League back-to-back 4 times because of Kevin De Bruyne. So it's not too bad. You can live a happy life, son.
But they should do stuff like that, Let's be honest. If Liverpool said to all of us as fans, no, the GoFundMe idea.
Okay.
Think about this, yeah. Liverpool's got I don't know, maybe 400, 500 million fans around the world, give or take, who knows, yeah? But 4th, 5th largest fan base around the world. If they said, all right, guys, I'll tell you what, you want a Timo Werner? Everyone pay £1 into a GoFundMe and we'll get this popping. If everybody, do you know what I mean? If all the Liverpool fans who could afford it, which let's say at least half of them, hopefully, do you know what I mean? That'll be 200 million people putting £1 in that GoFundMe. Then we can go and buy some transfers.
I think the season ticket holders would have something to say about that. Although they've just got a partial rebate, so fair play. Actually, let's do it.
Drifty, I'll let you pitch that one on Twitter, and then I'll sit back with some popcorn and watch as the comments come in.
For real.
So, another story that's coming out today, and Saswat Pani asked this earlier in his super chat, was the African Cup of Nations. Now, apparently, they do want to still proceed with this in 2021. Again, there's no confirmation on it, etc. But again, without coming back to Timo Werner, if the African Cup of Nations go forward, we'll be losing Naby Keita, potentially Salah and Mane. If we don't sign anyone and the African Cup of Nations goes forward, do you think we're in trouble in that period? I'll come to you first on that one, David.
Yeah, that's going to be an issue, isn't it? I think that's something Liverpool will be keeping an eye on massively, because the talk is obviously at the moment they don't want to spend big, and I believe that to be true. I think the financial impact of the coronavirus is obvious, and Liverpool are not really a club at the moment from where they've come from to where they are now in such a short period of time. Although the last couple of sets of accounts have been really good, it's easy to forget that they were very bad not very long ago. So that I completely understand why they would be very careful going into this. But I do think there'll be an element of, if there's any confirmation of the Africa Cup of Nations going ahead in that period of next season, and they the transfer window being when it is, I think Liverpool will wait as late as possible, and then I think they'll have to make a move, because like you say, that's not just three players, but 3 hugely talented players. These aren't just fringe players who would be missing for a while. That'd be such a big miss. And even though Keita doesn't maybe play as often, it's another option in midfield, an area where you can pick up injuries, and you do have to rotate a lot because of the work they get through. So they'd all be absolutely huge misses. So yeah, I think Liverpool probably wouldn't be able to get away with that unless they completely went into it and said Ethnic Cup and League Cup is solely kids next season or something like that. Even then it would be a massive risk that they'd be taking if they didn't bring anyone in. And I think it'd be much harder to defend the title. So yeah, I think that could be the thing that prompts him into action later in the transfer window.
Drifty, I think I know what your answer is going to be, but let's put a scenario here. African Cup of Nations given a go-ahead. Liverpool side, no players. On a scale of 1 to 10, how angry are you going to be?
You know, here's the thing that would frustrate me more than anything is that you did it to us 2 summers in a row. I think you can get away with 1. And even with the whole pandemic and everything going on, and I know I'm not in the accounts team and I don't know exactly what's going on, and it's easy for me to spend money that I don't fully know anything about and what have you. But even when you think about the fact that the owners can put a bit of money in out their pocket and financial fair play does let you slightly balance a bit, you can put a bit more in and those kind of things, which is how Cities and Chelseas and stuff can still kind of operate well in this. Like the owners themselves, could it not be a time to be like, all right, you stabilized us, you've made us amazing compared to where we were financially 4 or 5 years ago, and especially from when they took over. But maybe could you just put a little something in out your own pocket now, maybe just to go that little bit of like, look, we care about you, but look, we want to show you we really care about you, because not only have we sorted the club out, we also want to put a little extra win while the times are hard, just to prove how dedicated we are to this. Do you know what I mean? Just a little bit. We're not saying go stupid, but a Timo Werner wouldn't have been that out of there. 50 million. Like, we're not asking for Mbappe. We're not saying go and do something stupid. We're talking about in today's market. I am if you're talking about fantasy. But we're talking about, if we're talking about no pandemic transfer window, 50 million is actually nothing. That's how bad football's got now. It'd be like, oh, what, only 50 mil? Is that all you paid? So I'm still feeling like that's something they still should have really just done it, man. Just put a little bit of extra in out your pocket. And even if you take it back over a course of time, so you don't actually come out of pocket, but at that time you help because it's your club, obviously, and it's what we needed. So if we don't sign anybody and then them guys go to the Cup of Nations, I don't really know what we do. I'll be honest, I don't know what we do. You can't tell me, as good as Van Dijk, Gomez, Wijnaldum, Henderson, as good as all those boys are, you know what I mean, Trent, Robbo, all our world-class players, you take Mo and you take Mane out the team. What do we do? Not only is one-on-one, at the same time. What if Egypt and Senegal go so far they both get to semis or the final or something? They'll miss the whole month. How do we cope with no Mane and no Salah for a month? No, come on, man. It don't make no sense.
Yeah, I'll be honest. You just saying that last sentence sent a horrible little shiver down my spine, to be honest. I'm not usually lost for words, but Matt, I'll come to you now. What's your thoughts on it? If Mane and Salah go to the African Cup of Nations along with Keita and we haven't brought anyone in?
I'll be real with you. If we don't get any type of, not even replacement, just some bodies in to help out if AFCON does come around next season, I think we're going to be in serious trouble. Now, David did actually mention a good point of, obviously, you've got the youngsters, but again, like, and I think you even said this as well, David, like, you're asking a lot. So you're asking maybe Curtis Jones to come in maybe to midfield and just perform straight away. Maybe even a Harvey Elliott again, but I still feel like he needs a bit of time. The thing is, when you're bringing young players, you don't want to just put them straight, in my opinion, into the limelight straight away. You want to give them time to just, like, you know, ease them in. Do you know what I mean? Because it's a lot of pressure, especially playing for a big club at Liverpool. If we have no Mane and Salah, you're basically saying to Origi, Minamino, and Shaqiri to hold the fort. Now, I really like Divock Origi. I think Origi can do quite a lot, to be fair. But Shaqiri's never fit, so we can't really rely on him. And Minamino is still learning his trade at a new club. So again, you're asking a lot, and I do think he will come good. But again, you've got to give him time. When you're just throwing people in the deep end to replace arguably the 2 best goal scorers that we have in our team, you're asking for trouble if you don't get replacements. That's like, I'll be real with you. I think we'll be in serious trouble.
Yeah,
you know, sorry to cut you, Cal.
Go on.
Even though I'll still be very, very upset if we don't sign anyone. When you just said Minamino, Origi, and Shaqiri, something did click to me and think, and those are quality players, you know. Like maybe we wouldn't be. It's because we're just thinking about how good Mane and Mo are. Those are some very good players you just mentioned, though. Like they actually are. Like that. I don't even know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, very true. I mean, I look at it like this, and I think you've got to take things and look at the broad picture. I mean, apparently FSG are having some issues with regards to the Red Sox, where they've asked some of their staff to take pay cuts. So they might be in a bit of a precarious position, because if they seem to be splashing out the money at Liverpool, but they're not doing anything for the Red Sox, and they're asking staff at the Red Sox to take pay cuts, then it puts them in a horrible position. They're in a really bad position. However, at the same time, I look at it like this. If I went to my missus on her birthday and I said, you know what, I can't get you a present this year, I'm a bit low on funds, I think she'll let me off this year. If I go back to her next year and I say, oh yeah, I'm in a great paying job, but because my mate over there, I owe him a bit of money, I'm not going to get you a birthday present again, then I could be sleeping on the porch for a little while. So I don't know. I mean, I think FSG are in a tough position, and again, I don't think they're bad owners. Not bad owners by any stretch of the imagination. When you think of bad owners, you think of people like your Mike Ashleys, etc. But this is, I think, a very, very important summer for them, and I think we'll only really be able to judge them once the summer transfer window is open and shut. I don't like the whole narrative that's going around at the moment, that FSG out straight away or FSG in as well, because we don't know what's going on yet. For all we know, they could still have a rabbit and pull a rabbit out of the hat, but
this is what I was
give them that chance.
Sorry, Cal, just quickly, that's one thing I will say as well. I think people are going a bit overboard when they're saying things like FSG out. Like, what we need to remember as well, the window's not even officially open yet, and obviously, like every top club, like you don't also just want to bite the bullet straight away and just make transfers right now. You're going to look at your situation, and I suppose we've got to give Liverpool a chance as well. You got to think to yourselves, like, it's going to come to a certain point, maybe in August, where they're going to look at their financial situation, and if they can get a couple of player sales in and whatnot, and see if they can get in the extra revenue, we might be able to get someone. It might not be someone like, world breaking, but I just think a body of quality is needed. And again, it doesn't have to be an Mbappe. It doesn't have to be Neymar. It just has to be someone who's good enough to fit our system, and Klopp can work with them and get the best out of them.
Fair enough. Just got a quick super chat from Genie Houdini. I don't think Shaq is injured. Klopp won't play him. From what we've heard from the club, he's actually injured. So
he is injured. I think it's a fair point that even when he's fit, he's really struggling to get minutes. And I think that's why, no matter what happens in these next 9 games, I think Liverpool will be letting him go this summer.
Yeah, it's a shame, because we're all quite excited when he signed, and it's almost a shame because this move's come too late in his career, because I know we pursued him when he was a lot younger and he decided to go to Bayern Munich instead, and unfortunately it didn't work out for him there either. I mean, he won a few trophies, but you wouldn't say he was necessarily pivotal or a mainstay in the team. So it's just a shame how his sort of career trajectory's gone. It's almost a case of not making the right moves at the right time. However, he's still a quality player, and if he does leave in the summer, I'm sure he'll leave with the best wishes from everyone at the club. So, David, just going to talk to you a bit about yourself now. So, obviously, you're a well-renowned correspondent and journalist. So, between 2015 and 2018, you actually worked for Liverpool FC. And, I mean, for anyone who's a fan of Liverpool, the dream is to either be a footballer or have some connection to the club or work within the club. You've had that honour. How was it for you? Was it everything that you dreamt of, or did you get opened up to a side of football that you're like, I can't believe this happens behind the scenes?
No, to be honest, it was I think every element of working there was exactly what I'd hoped it would be, and more really. Some of the things I got to do were just ridiculous, in terms of memories that you'd tell your grandchildren about. And yeah, it was working with a great bunch of people, and obviously, like you say, I wasn't good enough to play for Liverpool, but that was as close as I'll ever get. And, it was real pride to be able to go up and down the country and travel up and down the country with the squad and pull on that suit with the Liver Bird crest and just, feel like a big part of it. So, yeah, I absolutely loved it. I obviously don't work there now just because, you know, I did always want to come back out and sort of do this reporting and be able to break stories, which is something you don't necessarily get to do when you work for the official website. So I did miss that, but everything else about it was an absolute dream. Like you say, I loved it.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, even the suit is very nice. Do you still have the suit, David?
I do, yeah. So we got one every season. So I've got 3 hung up in the wardrobe that I'll just, I might just
nice.
walk to the house and
Well,
you know what? I would wear that to my wedding. You know? I don't care. I'm rocking that to the wedding.
I get married a year today, actually. So maybe I'll just run that past my girlfriend, see how she's feeling.
Do it, David.
David, from someone who's married, I wouldn't, bro. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. Between now and the day you get married, there's going to be a lot of rocky days, mate. Just my only advice is just smile and nod, and if you're not too fussed about being at the wedding, just say, "Oh yeah, babe, we can do that." It works. It works. And I can say this because my missus isn't listening to the show today. So, but you said you wanted to leave Liverpool because you wanted to sort of break news and etc. And obviously, journalists do get quite a bad rap, especially on Twitter. I mean, everyone gets a bad rap on Twitter, but journalists especially. How difficult is it balancing that narrative of wanting to sort of better your career, but also that wanting to break news, but wanting to break the correct news? I mean, obviously, you must have had times where people have given you false information. You thought, yeah, this is credible, gone with it. And then the next thing you know, there's your Twitter timelines being bombarded with people saying this, that, and the other. So how difficult is it balancing that?
Yeah, so I like to think since I've been at the Standard, I've sort of done quite well in terms of not writing stuff that's proven to be false or anything like that. I've just, you know, and sometimes that comes down to luck, like you say, because sometimes people will tell you fibs and you'll write it. I think one of the worst experiences I had actually was with Timo Werner related. So the day it came out, I know. I see him in the mix zone at Chelsea next season. I'm like, you. But like the day that broke the news that he was basically that Chelsea were going to trigger his release clause, I'd written a piece earlier in the day, which it wasn't even to do with that. It was about something else. I think it might have been an injury piece or something about an outgoing transfer. And I was just trying to make a word count. So I was like, I need to stick a couple of lines in the bottom here just to fill this out a little bit. And I just thought, okay, I'll put the bit in about Werner, just what the latest is that I knew. And I maybe didn't go back and check, you know, has this definitely moved on at all? I just thought, well, I asked about a week ago and it was up to, you know, there's still Liverpool interest, but they're going to wait until late in the summer to maybe assess it. And I thought, and I just stuck that at the bottom of a piece. And as always happens now, is you get the aggregating websites will pick this up, and he likes it, you know, the Twitter accounts that will post the info in bracket with your name in the brackets and stuff like that. They put this little bit in the bottom of a piece, and it just went everywhere. And then obviously a few hours later, Matt Law, the Telegraph, said that Chelsea are triggering his release clause. I was just like, no. So, yeah, that was a bit of a nightmare. So yeah, you can't always be right, and you know, I try and stress that on Twitter as much as possible that, you know, it's always what I know to be true up to that point, and sometimes you get lied to. So yeah, I've not had too many bad experiences with that, but that sort of gave me an insight into what it would be like if I got something truly horribly wrong, which has happened to some people. So fingers crossed I never get that.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I work in social media professionally, and I've been given some bad information sometimes and gone with it, and it's a horrible feeling. When you press that tweet button, it's a rough night.
I've got a deep story from when I worked at Liverpool. Actually, one of the social guys, he's not there anymore, so I think I can tell the story. Remember before we played Watford a few years back, so it must have been Jurgen Klopp's first season, and Mignolet hadn't been playing particularly well, so he thought he brought Adam Bogdan into the team, didn't he?
Yeah.
On Instagram that day, the official Liverpool account was doing an Instagram story, and this guy who no longer works for LFC, those two things aren't linked, by the way, He filmed a little video for the Instagram story of Bogdan making some warm-up saves, and then just put the caption next to it, "Safe hands," which, as you can imagine, when Bogdan had thrown one into his own net. So that was
boy.
Boy. That was a rough day. I remember we lost that game 3-0.
Yeah.
3-0 we lost that game. Agalo looked world class in that game as well.
Terrible.
Rough day. So David, just sticking with you, and then guys, I'm going to ask you a similar question. Who is your favourite player that you've interviewed? Your favourite Liverpool player?
I think it's tough. I always say I really used to like speaking to Joe Allen when he was at the club. Really nice guy. But then of the current crop, we speak to Andy Robertson all the time. He's really good with his time, speaks really well. Same for Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. When he's in the team, he'll speak to you every time. He's really great. And you know, special mention to Van Dijk and Wijnaldum, who will always stop. They're absolutely brilliant and always give you a little line, and they're just really good to deal with. One of the things about this Liverpool squad, and I like to tell people this because, you know, footballers do get bad press, although they're sort of fighting back at the moment because they've done more in this current crisis than the government, to be honest. But this Liverpool squad in particular, obviously the people I deal with the most, are just a group of really, really nice lads. And I think that says a lot about who the manager looks for and the sort of the mood he sets in the camp, that he only wants people who are there, who are nice lads, who are going to work hard and you know, are willing to commit themselves, and there's no big egos there. So this Liverpool squad generally to deal with at the moment is just a dream as a journalist, to be honest.
Lovely. So Matt and Drifty, obviously none of us have interviewed anyone at the club. If there's one player right now from the current crop, who would you want to interview and why? Matt, I'll start with you.
You know who I'm gonna pick. You know exactly what I'm gonna. It's gotta be Naby. Like Naby just looks like my type of guy that like I can just like, you know, just chill with and just have normal conversation. And just like what David said, they're all down to earth guys. But I just think, me being such a big fan of Naby, I think he's the person that I would probably like go to first. I've actually had the pleasure of meeting Van Dijk. Me and Drifter both met Van Dijk.
Oh yes, that's right. Yes.
Yeah, he's a real stand-up guy. He made time to actually speak to us as well, obviously. And this is the thing as well. A lot of people like forget when footballers like finish their match, they kind of just want to chill out and, you know, just get dressed and go home. But like a lot of the times, in fact, all the time, they always make time for fans and journalists all the time. So you kind of have to like just remember they are human. But they're obviously like that. I think they're just heartwarming guys, to be fair. I think sometimes we think they're robots and they clearly aren't. But going back to your original question, definitely Naby. Naby cater all day, every day, mate. Trust me.
What about you, Drifty?
I'm gonna cheat a little bit. I wanna go. I wanna have a pub lunch with Hendo.
No, Drifty, just an interview.
An interview, can't have lunch.
Where did
I wanna go raving. No, listen, hold on. I'll get to the interview. Right?
There's always one.
I wanna go raving with Ox. I wanna just hang out and just talk with Wijnaldum and Sadio, which would probably be one of the best moments of my life if I ever got to do something like that. And I want to go and do some shooting practice and then do an interview afterwards with Bobby.
So basically, you just want to be integrated into the squad. Yeah, for me, I think it's obvious. Anyone who knows me, it's Bobby. I'd even learn Spanish and Portuguese to do the interview. I mean, it's Bobby, innit? He's the man. He's the man. Obviously, I admire all the players, but Bobby's. I would just want to ask him, why is your brain so quick? That's all I'd want to say. What makes your brain different to everyone else's? How do you do it? Te quiero.
Short interview, bro. That's a short interview, but
hey, that's all I need. That's all I need. Life's complete after that. Win the league, get an interview with Bobby. I'm good. Bow out. I'll bow out of the game. I'm good. So I just got a super chat from Jeannie Houdini again. So thank you, Jeannie. Looking into the future, in your opinion, who do you think will end up leaving the club first, Van Dijk or Alisson? Well, none.
Genie, don't put that in the universe, bro.
Yeah,
oh my day.
I don't know. Maybe someone's hacked your account, Genie. I don't know. We don't want to see any of those players leave anytime soon. But if I had to guess one,
that's tough, you know.
I maybe would go with
you know what?
Virgil.
Reluctantly, I'll say Van Dijk, because I think goalkeepers. I'm just, I'm kind of generalizing, but goalies seem to be a little bit more down for the cause and loyal than outfield players in general. Like, I think once a goalie knows he's number one, he's a lot more likely to stay at a club. I mean, look at De Gea at Man U, and they've been dog shit for how long now? So I'd probably say maybe Van Dijk might be the one who would go first. But come on, man, let's hope that it's because they're 35 and they're just going to go play in America for a year and get one last paycheck, man.
Yeah, indeed. I'd be devastated if either of those two left. So God willing, that doesn't happen. But David, just got a couple of transfer rumours. And again, obviously, we know you don't know the be all and end all. No one does apart from Jurgen and probably Michael Edwards. But I'm just going to throw out a few names. And firstly, just want to know how true you think the rumour is and if you think they would work at Liverpool. So first, Ousmane Dembele.
Tough one. The way it was put to me, I actually asked someone at the club about this probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, and they said that the way they see it is that Jurgen Klopp's not actually a massive fan of the player, to be honest. Doesn't really think that he would. I know. It sort of surprised me, because I think, all the stuff around his work rate and unprofessionalism and all stuff like that. I tend to take that with a massive pinch of salt, because a lot of that was said about Shaqiri, for example, and was proven to be complete nonsense. So it's not even necessarily that. I don't buy into that. I think his fitness record would obviously be a massive concern, and then could he physically take the high pressing style? We didn't see a lot of him doing that at Dortmund. He's in Barcelona, don't ask him to do that either. So I don't know. He's a brilliant fast winger, so much skill, so much ability, so two-footed. But it's whether would he work as hard as a Mane and a Salah on either side? Maybe not. And I think you're not going to bring a player with that who's that expensive and would ask for those sort of wages to sit on the bench. So I just can't see it, to be honest. Sorry.
No club access for me then. I tried. I mean, El Magico, Felipe Coutinho.
Yeah, well,
he's gonna do it.
Yeah, I think honestly, there's no burnt bridges. Everyone in the squad loves him. Klopp still loves him as a person, as a player, but I just don't see that working. I don't see where he fits in, and again, he'd be so expensive to basically come and ask him to come in and sit on the bench. And the way I look at it, even if you start in the front three, could you fit him into that number 8, number 10 position? Oxlade-Chamberlain's probably more of a good fit for the team now in that position, or you go with that really solid midfield 3. So I just think it's too hard to see him getting in the team, and I think he could probably go to an Arsenal where he'll play every week, even though he's not going to probably win trophies there. I think that's probably a better fit, to be honest.
I don't want to see, if Coutinho puts on an Arsenal shirt, I'll do my nut.
Yeah, but Kia Jarabchian's basically forcing David Luiz on them for another 2 seasons, so they've got to get something out of
it. Yeah. Okay. Ryan Fraser.
I asked about him in Liverpool back when the rumours were really strong, which I think was around January, wasn't it? Again, that got completely shut down, as in no interest. It was at that time, so he was someone that they'd maybe looked at, but I'm not sure they're going to follow up on him. If they did, I think, could you see Shaqiri going out and Ryan Fraser coming in? Would that be worthwhile? I think Liverpool have had to see something in him that I've not seen, certainly in the last season or so, because I think he's, since his contract scenario has come up, he's been really poor, to be honest. Dropped off a cliff a little bit. So maybe someone that they've looked at in the past, but maybe not now. I couldn't really see that one, to be honest. Have you got any more I can rule out? Because I can keep going.
Mbappe.
Yeah. So there you have it, guys. Mbappe is coming to Liverpool now. In fact, don't run with that because
exactly. You know what's going to be like? Twitter will be going crazy after this.
They're just going to take that snippet and then it's done, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, so we're coming to the end of the show, but yesterday was Jordan Henderson's birthday. As Drifter would like to say, my captain. So I just want to ask a couple of questions around Jordan Henderson. So I'll go around all of you. What is your favorite Jordan Henderson moment so far? So obviously, Drifty, I know he's one of your favorite players, so I'll start with you first.
Ooh, so many, bro. So many. I mean, how many Christmases have I enjoyed? So many. You know what? It's got to be when he just stuck one in the schneb against Chelsea, man. That was just... Oh, no, but then remember when he put that bender in the top corner against Man City, though?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
But do you know what? No, my favourite Henderson moment of all time, it's the shuffle. It's the shuffle. Come on, number 6. Are you crazy? Name me a captain who's made lifting the Champions League look so cool other than Jordan. Like, be honest, who's ever made it look so cool to lift the Champions League? It's the shuffle, man.
Matt, what's your favourite moment?
Do you know what? It probably is the same. It's got to be winning the Champions League, captaining Liverpool to that triumph. I think Henderson, again, does split opinion amongst the fan base as well. Obviously, me and Drift have had our war of words when it comes to Henderson. Listen, some people think I don't like Henderson. I do like him. I just don't necessarily rate him as high as Drift, but I still think he's one hell of a player. And I think anyone that can, win a World Club Championship, a Champions League, and now about to lift up the Prem, and you've been captain of that team, that says a lot about you as a person. And I think even though I had little doubts before about, should the captain have been Van Dijk, I've got to look at it now on a serious note and be like, do you know what? Jordan Henderson is right for the cause. He actually is. I can't even lie. I can't lie. I can't. No, but the thing is, I'll admit when I'm wrong, innit? I'll admit when I'm wrong.
Fair dues.
And again, I still think Van Dijk will be an amazing captain, whether that's down the line or not. But right now, Henderson should be the captain of Liverpool. That is the truth. That's facts. That's facts. As Rafa Benitez would say, facts.
So, David, what's been your favourite Henderson moment so far?
Yeah, I think there was one early on in his Liverpool career when he fronted up to Diego Costa that I really liked.
Yeah.
And sort of showed he was up for the fight, which I really like. But I think if I was to pick a favourite moment, I love that shot of him on the plane coming back from Madrid with his feet up on the European Cup, and I just think that is such an iconic shot. And for a player to have been through what he's been through in terms of, basically his experience at Liverpool, the start of it was not very pleasant at all, and he nearly got forced out of the club. And to bounce back from that, to then pick up the captaincy, to get that questioned so much by you, apparently, Matt. To take down all the doubters from inside the club, from outside the club, and to get to where he had, and then to look so cool in that moment, and just to say, "Look at me now." I just think that's fantastic, and I can't wait to see him lift the Premier League, because what a moment that'll be for him. He really, he'll achieve so much in his career at that point. You just think, what a journey he's been on.
Yeah, definitely. For me, my favourite Henderson moment was him having his embrace with his dad after the game in Madrid.
I was just about to say that, bro.
Yeah, I thought that was iconic. It was iconic. I mean, no one knew just the severity of what his dad had gone through and what he had gone through as well. I mean, he'd been through a lot, and for him to come out the other end and seeing that embrace, seeing him lift a trophy after the year before having a runners-up medal, it was beautiful to see. So yeah, that's my favourite Henderson moment. I'm going to ask you guys a couple more questions, but let me just read out this super chat from Weebay Liverpool. Hi guys, once after we win the league, do you guys think Klopp will give a chance to youngsters, or do you think he'll go for the most points in a season and to pass City's record? Interesting question. I'll go to you first on that, Drew.
You know what? I'm torn because remember I said to you guys, now I know that we are going to be champions. I want to do things that haven't been done before, so I do want to get the points total to have the record runner-up points total and the disappointment of that for the following season to go and smash all, the all-time record of points and win it. That's levels of I don't want to hear invincibles and teams like I don't want to hear all that. I'm talking about this team right now. So I do want to smash that points tally and be like, look how many games we won in a single season. But I love me some Nico. I love me some Jones. I do want to see them play. I do. It's weird. I don't know how Klopp does both, but I do want to see these boys because I think they're ready and I think they're good enough. I do want to see them play. So I guess we got to be 3-0 up at halftime in every game and then just bring them on, innit? So that's the plan now.
Not asking for much, then, Drift. No. Nah. David, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, to be honest, I've thought about this a lot actually, and I sort of think if you break the 100 points barrier now, it's maybe less of an achievement than when Manchester City got the 100, which as hard as that is to admit, I suppose, because I think the crowd element of it, and we'll probably find out at Goodison Park. I'm interested to see how that goes. But I think the crowd element of it, doing it away from home in all those different atmospheres, and it can get difficult in different places. Even Watford, I was there when Liverpool got beat this season, and the atmosphere was outstanding, and that without a doubt played a part in Liverpool losing that day to a team that were in a relegation battle. So I think getting the 100 points is probably not as big an achievement anymore. So I think the focus should be on, particularly if there aren't going to be any signings or certainly no big signings this summer, is getting minutes into the likes of Nico Williams, Curtis Jones, and definitely Harvey Elliott. He might be a big option on that right-hand side, even though he's so young. He's such a huge talent. I think if he was in a team that wasn't doing what they're doing at the moment, he would have played a lot more and there would have been a lot more talk about him. So I think getting them in a situation whereby if they're going to feature a bit more in the Premier League next season, it's not all going to be the first experience. I think that personally for me might be a little bit more important than going for that record. But you like Drifter says, we could do both. You never know.
Yeah. Matt, same to you.
Yeah, do you know what? I have to agree with both of you guys. I would like to do both, and I'm sure Klopp would, but I think if you think about what Jurgen Klopp thinks is what is the most important thing, I think he's going to think, bedding in the youngsters. I think Klopp wants to give them more taste of regular first-team action and just kind of get them ready for next season, because I do think the likes of Nico, Curtis Jones and Harvey Elliott are going to potentially push for next season, especially in the starting lineup, obviously, if we don't make any signings. So I think that's going to be more in his brain rather than the points tally. I think it's kind of mad because I think Guardiola strikes me as someone who's more obsessed with breaking records. Obviously, Klopp wants to break records, but I just think Jurgen Klopp's is thinking with all this pandemic going on right now, let's just win the title. All we need is the title. We're going to get the title. And then I just think Liverpool are going to start bending some of the youngsters. That's what I think he'll do anyway.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I think he will bed in the youngsters. I think he'll use this period, especially if we wrap up the league in the next 2 games, I think he'll use this period to actually see just how good these youngsters are. And don't forget, when these younger players are playing, they're usually not playing in front of a crowd either. So this could actually be the best time to actually bed them in. There's no crowd there, so the atmosphere may not get on top of them. When they're playing under 23s, there's virtually no crowd there either. So it might be a chance to actually see them just relax and play their normal game, and we'll see how good they actually are. So they can kind of come in with absolutely no pressure, which is the best scenario for everyone at the club, in my opinion. So it'll be interesting to see.
Do you know how I'd look at it, guys? I'd look at it like if they play more than 5 games each between now and the end, we're not buying anyone. And this is Klopp making sure that these guys are ready. If they hardly feature at all, maybe he does have plans to make a signing or 2. I feel like that might be how I'm going to look at it now.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's a good point.
Just before we let you go, David, so just 2 more Henderson questions. So, Drifty, you've almost kind of said it already. David, I'll start with you. Your favourite Henderson goal?
His favourite goal? Yeah, God, it really went through the best ones he scored, to be honest. But I think one I probably enjoyed the most actually is not one of those. Is the one against Southampton away.
Yes.
And it just the crazy 3 celebrations in one, and that was such a big goal, and obviously didn't end up winning the title that season, but it just felt like such a huge moment, that, and a real moment in the development of the team, and the fact it was him, someone who again he'd faced even criticism even that season, and yeah, it was just such a great let off, and I could see the away end from the press box. It was just crazy, so I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, Matt, your favourite?
Do you know what? It's probably the Chelsea goal against Courtois. I think it was the 16-17 season, where I think the ball came from the left-hand side, and I think Henderson took one touch and bent it 30 yards out right into the corner. The technical ability to do that, I think it just reminded everyone, I'm not just a hard worker or a grafter. I've got technique. I can do what Coutinho can do as well, and that's hit a ball from long range and very accurately. So, and even the celebration there, the way he was celebrating, he was going crazy. He was so much pressure. He was just he was just going mad. I remember it. That was a quality goal. That was quality.
So yeah, Drift, you've gone through a few already. What's your favourite?
Yeah, it probably is the Chelsea one, Although I do love that goal he scored. I think it was against West Ham when he hit a little nutmeg and then put it in the bottom corner. Was it West Ham?
No, you're thinking of League Cup. I think that was against, if my memory serves me correct, was that Northampton?
Maybe.
It was a League Cup, though. It was a League Cup back in 2013-14.
Yeah, I'll have to go through, but that was a naughty little goal as well. Hey, shout out Jordan Henderson, man. I don't even know why he gets so much hate, I really don't get it. But I guess you can't be the best captain in the world without haters, right? So,
I think I'm gonna go David on this one. That Southampton goal. So that was a special goal for me because I was actually on holiday with my missus, and she wanted to go down for dinner, and I was like, oh well, we'll go down in a bit after this game. And I just remember that because even the Salah goal, because that was the goal that made it 3-1, but the Salah goal was a magical goal as well, because that game looked, for all intents and purposes, that it's heading for a draw. And I remember Henderson started that game on the bench. A couple of games before that, I think he got substituted against Manchester United, and people thought there was a bit of unrest there, and then he wasn't starting games. And I think that goal for him changed the whole trajectory of his last, let's say, 24 months of him as a player himself, because he stopped playing the holding role, started playing on the right of the three.
Yeah,
started getting forward more, really came off the leash, and that's when we started seeing his best performances. So I think that goal was really pivotal in his development, and just the emotion, the desire, just him getting on the end of that pass from Firmino as well. For me, it was a beautiful goal. So that's my favourite. So I ask you now, guys, and this is probably the hardest question of them all: where does he rank amongst Liverpool captains? I'll let you have. I know that's a hard one. I'm going to answer this. Say this super chat first while you guys think about it. So Nissa Pongi has asked, "Hey boys, are you looking forward to Liverpool playing again? Hope all four of you are well and keeping safe. Much love from New Zealand, and God bless. God bless to you as well. We're definitely looking forward to the restart, and we'll say 100%. Hope you are too.
Definitely.
So who am I going to come to first on this one? It's got to be Drifty, isn't it? Like, you just gave him the big build up, so good luck.
All right. Where would he rank in the top 10 or top 20 or whatever you mean?
Where would he rank? I mean, I'm going to say some names now, and you've got. Gerrard, Souness. Some of you. I mean, where does he rank? He's what?
Come on, man. Hughes, Dalglish, Souness, bro. Don't do this to me, man. You're playing with my emotions, bro.
Is he a better captain than Gerrard?
Do you know what? Yeah, I don't care if it sounds like I'm talking shit. I'm gonna do it because ability wise, he's nowhere near as good as the other captains. I'm putting him number 1.
There you go,
Matt. Where do you rate him?
Do you know what? Henderson has really grown on me, especially I'll say the last, say, 2 years. I don't think he's a better captain than Gerrard. Give me the names again, and I'll tell you. Go on, give me the names again.
Gerrard, Souness, Thompson, Dalglish, Hughes.
It pains me to say, not even pains me, because I don't want Drift to feel like he's won in it. But if I'm being honest, if I'm being honest, Henderson right now will probably go into top 3. You know, you have to look at his credentials. You can't take away anything from Henderson. And again, maybe he may not be as talented as some of those others. Not saying that there's like a gulf, but just maybe even slightly. You just got to look at his application and what he's won for Liverpool, especially when we were going through a really turbulent time as well at one stage, and what he's done to bring us through that. He has to go in. All right, you know what? He's probably number 3 or 4. 3 or 4, I'd say. That's quite high in my opinion. That's pretty high.
You know, all jokes aside, before people get too crazy, I'd probably say it goes Kenny, Gerrard, and then I'll put Henderson third.
Lynch, over to you, sir.
No, to be fair, I mean, it's obviously, I think it's hard for us because we missed football of a certain generation as well. So I don't, on anyone's toes in saying this, but I think you've got to sort of consider him alongside all the European Cup winning Liverpool captains. So, and I think Gerrard, his career, the fact he was a local lad, obviously didn't end up winning the league, but I think, him and Souness maybe are up there as 2 on their own. Souness, again, because he was at the time a world leader in his position, a hard man and a renowned captain in terms of the motivation of players around him. So, you could look and say, if Jordan Henderson gets a European Cup and he is the one who leads the team to the first league title in 30 years, which he is going to be, does he sneak ahead of Phil Thompson, somebody who lost the captaincy? I would say possibly, yeah. So there is a shout then, and then you're up against like the likes of Emlyn Hughes. So top 3, top 4, I think by the time he's finished at Liverpool, I think he could be really pushing for that top 3, I think, because if he gets another league winners medal after this one, could be even another European Cup, we never know. There's so much left to achieve. I think he could. He's in a position where he could end his career as a top 3 Liverpool captain of all time. And who would have said that when he first signed for the club? What an incredible journey he's been on.
Indeed. So Mr. Wilson's given us a super chat. Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Henderson versus City at home, 2014-15, curled it top corner. Fantastic goal that was as well.
Great goal. So hot. I remember that goal, yeah.
Yeah.
I was waiting, guys. Use at that time, by the way, and I was sat in the press box trying to pretend that I was writing about City, and that went in. I was
like, those are always the best ones. I almost got beaten up at Charlton when Morientes scored his first goal for Liverpool because I jumped up and celebrated, and I quickly looked around me and said, "Oh, this might not be the wisest thing to do." Those are the best ones, though. But guys, thank you so much for joining us on the stream. David, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. You're a great guy, great journalist, great correspondent, and hopefully we can do this again one day. We can do it after we lift that Premier League trophy.
Yes,
indeed. So, guys, as always, do like, comment, and subscribe. David, where can the people find you on social media?
Yeah, find me on Twitter at Lynch Standard. Just don't tweet me about transfers or Naby Keita.
And guys, you know where to find us. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So as always, guys, thank you for joining us. Our next show is tomorrow, so we'll be back live again tomorrow evening. So between now and then, stay safe, stay blessed. We are Kopish, and we'll see you soon, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in.
Peace out, peace.